Hi everyone, I'm Benjamin. Welcome to my book club. I just finished chapter 65 of The Forge of God by Greg Bear, and this is our penultimate episode of the read-along. Let's get into it. For how close we are to the end of this book now, this is going to be the second to last episode that I record. I was a little bit disappointed in this group of chapters. Not a lot happened. Some big events happened, which we'll go over. But there's not a lot of space left in the book to answer a lot of the questions I still have remaining, and I'm beginning to think a lot of those questions aren't going to be answered. I still trust that the book's going to come to a pretty satisfying conclusion, but I suspect I'm not getting the ending that I was hoping for. So first off, it seems we have wrapped up the character arc of the most important character in the book, Europa, as we have discovered that Venus has come back from behind the sun and is a completely changed planet. Its once fully opaque atmosphere is now clear. It appears as though the ice from Europa has broken up somehow and coated the planet and turned into superheated steam. And scientists assume that this is going to give Venus a way to vent excess heat that it's never had before. By evaporating the water into steam, the steam will rise into the atmosphere, vent some heat off, drop as rain, and then repeat. And then presumably over the course of, I assume, thousands and thousands of years, Venus might become properly terraformed and may become an Earth-like planet. And this raises a really interesting question, which I'll talk about a bit later, which is, why are the aliens doing this? We also have confirmation that, yes, there are multiple Ark ships, and it seems that they're all being built underwater. We have confirmed locations of Shanghai, San Francisco, Seattle, Chicago, Lake Erie, and Charleston, I think, are the ones that we absolutely know exist now, which is more than the 4 that I was guessing there would be. So I'm really interested to see how many there really are. And of these, we know that Arthur is heading towards San Francisco, Trevor Hicks is in Seattle, and Reuben has just boarded one of these Ark ships in Lake Erie, taking a boat out onto the lake with the really funny joke name of the Gerald Fitz-Edmund, which gets ruined a little bit about a page later when the joke gets explained, but I still laughed. Taking this boat out onto the lake and then moving around until an elevator appeared out of nowhere, which him and some of the other members jumped on. So it seems like Reuben, at least, from our characters, has been chosen to go onto one of these arcs. However, no sooner do we find out that these arcs exist, that they are under attack. And it was at this point that I realised that we'd never named any of the factions of the aliens in this book. And finally, it seems in this set of chapters, at least the evil aliens get the name the Planet Eaters from just some people talking about them. So that's the name I'll use, but it would have been probably nice to have a name for like the Spiders as well. So the Planet Eaters put the locations that we know about of the arcs under bombardment. They completely destroy Seattle, they completely destroy Shanghai, and they completely destroy Charleston in events which are likened to giant nuclear bomb strikes. So much so that even some people think that it might have been the Russians, and the Russians seem to quickly try and call the president to talk to them. These cities are completely wiped off the map, and everyone in them, including our character Trevor Hicks, dies. It seems that our benevolent aliens, though, are still trying to protect us. They just can't protect everywhere. Some sort of aerial defense mechanism protects San Francisco and protects Chicago and Lake Erie, so that those arcs at least survive. And Arthur, on his way to these arcs, vows that him and his family, should they survive, should never forget what the aliens did here, trying to destroy our lifeboats, and how brutal and disgraceful an act that is. And finally, the bulk of these chapters was taken up with Edward in Yosemite National Park, kind of watching him and those around him just prepare for death. And I didn't dislike these chapters, but if I'm honest, ever since Edward was released from prison back in the Death Valley, released from the military confinement, I could take or leave his storyline. Nothing super exciting has happened in it. I suppose it's probably just there to give us a viewpoint of how some people are reacting to this, but how Edward and a lot of other characters are reacting doesn't seem very realistic to me. There's not the panic or the rioting that I would expect to see, like, at the end of the world. And overall, I just grow a little bit bored of Edward's chapters. It is nice seeing him explore Yosemite National Park, maybe just because it's a place I'd love to go visit one day. And it's nice that we see the little spiders taking a dead bird and taking some bark off of a fir tree, clearly taking genetic samples. back to the arcs, which implies that there might be an arc in Yosemite National Park. So I suspect Edward's story we've been following, so that because he's going to get on board one of these arcs, perhaps. So yeah, that's really all that happened in these chapters, and the bombardment and stuff was very important, and I think it's a very interesting point. At first, I was thinking, why would you waste the resources on bombarding these arc ships if you're just here to destroy the planet? And I think it's that act, along with stuff like the bogies trying to distract and test humanity, and Venus being terraformed, although that might be the other aliens. But it's these sort of things that make me think there's definitely more to the Planet Eater's plan than just destroying Earth. If all they wanted to do was destroy Earth, they could have just shot the bullets that are circling inside the planet. They could have just shot them and waited. But no, there's these other things going on. So I'm hoping we kind of see the culmination of their plans and what they were trying to achieve here. And also Arthur's comments of, if we survive this, never forget what they've done to us, kind of makes me realize why you try and destroy the arc ships. You don't leave the child prodigy alive in the anime show, because he's going to become the main protagonist and he's going to come kill you. And it's the same here, right? Like, if you're destroying the planet, if even just a few of these species get away, what if they do find a new home that you don't find? And what if they do spend the next 3,000 years building up and rebuilding and become a threat to you and your species? I suspect when you're on a galactic civilization scale, you need to be thinking about risks in this thousands of years sort of time frame. So it makes more sense just to, nip it in the bud and, kill everybody here. As for what's coming up in the finale, I think Earth's doomed. I think Arthur and his family are going to get split up against his will, and Arthur's going to get on the ship and his family's not. I think Edward's going to find a ship in Yosemite National Park and get on it. I'm hoping that in the next couple of chapters we'll see from Ruben's point of view inside one of the arc ships and kind of see what's going on there. I'd love to get more of an insight into the aliens that are helping us and the aliens that are trying to destroy us and what their goals of both these sides are. And I'd love to get an idea of if there are more arc ships. Surely there's not just 5, and which 4 of them are in the continental United States. I suspect there's arc ships across Europe and Russia and Oceania and Africa. But we haven't seen any information about them, so it would be really interesting to find out some more about that. And that's it. That's where we're at. For the next set of chapters, we're going to read from chapter 66 to the end. We're finishing the book off. The next episode will be the final episode. And I'm as of yet undecided whether I'm going to do a review as part of that episode, or if I'll do a separate review of the book in a different video. Let me know in the comments below what you think would be best, and also what you think we should read next after this. I'm already beginning to get some ideas, and I'll probably do a community poll to pick our next book. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you're thinking so far. I'd love to know what you think is going to happen at the end of this, and if you've missed any of the episodes, then the playlist is right up there. If you want to make sure you don't miss out on the final episode, make sure you're subscribed and you have your notifications turned on. But most of all, just keep reading.